Here's a quick little guide on how to boil and pop a figure's head off. You're going to need a figure, you're going to need some tongs, you're going to need a glass measuring cup. Screwdrivers are kind of optional. You're going to fill up the glass big enough to fit the figure. In this case I'm going to do a cup of water, and the guide basically for boiling water in the microwave is 1 cup of water for 2 minutes, 2 cups for between 4 and 5 minutes. I'm doing 1 cup of water, so 2 minutes. Even if you don't see it boiling, just use the time as a guide, because it will be hot enough to do the trick. Okay, so now I have boiling water. Stick the figure in there. If you boiled your water a little bit too much, sometimes they've warned about it online that super boiled water or something can explode. Well, it doesn't really explode. When you drop the figure in, it'll splash on you, and it really isn't that big of a deal. You just sort of drop it in, move your hand, and yeah, it's not really a big deal at all. Okay, that's possibly enough time. I'm kind of impatient. It's a little bit because of the video. Okay, so shake the water off, or out rather. And I'll try to film it. Basically, you just pull the head off. You pull the head off and knock over your phone, and that was it. Most figures, pretty easy. Now, if you're going to want to pop this body open, Irwin figures, you can typically, well not always, get this head peg out, either with a screwdriver, going like this, with needle nose pliers by gripping it and kind of wiggling it out, or well, basically if it was an Irwin figure, if you did get the neck peg out, you could insert needle nose pliers into the hole with them closed, so like this, and you could pop the torso open if you open up the pliers like that. And it doesn't work on all of them, and I actually recommend, especially with the value of most figures now, that you don't make mistakes and you actually use an X-Acto knife and cut through right here. And if you are doing a Jakks figure, you need to, you'll cut through the shoulders all the way through the neck. And on Jakks figures it's extremely important, since most of them have pegs around this area or a lot of glue, that you cut through right here. And so that should be your second step. First remove the head, then pop the torso. And once you pop the torso, the arms will fall out, and on figures that have a separate waist, you'll have a peg in there. And what I do is I actually will just basically shove an X-Acto knife blade right there. It's very tricky. It's a little dangerous. You definitely want to be working on top of a towel so you don't slip. And also you need to have some sort of gloves on. The type of gloves I use are like mechanic gloves from Target or something. And you just need to protect basically your thumb, your finger. And you put it in there. And typically just the force of shoving the X-Acto knife blade in right there will pop the hips apart, and the legs will fall right out and you're ready to go. But you can't do the method with needle nose pliers on Jakks figures, because what will happen is you'll end up either deforming it, or it'll be like a banana peel that just peels apart right here, or it'll just basically ruin the figure and you'll have to do a lot more sculpting and stuff. But that's not what I'm doing on this. I'm doing a head swap, so this part is done.